till the taste was done. Threw her on the floor and knocked off some.
Hey Reddit, am I the antagonist for eating sensual potatoes? Final update was posted in another subreddit. We'll get to that in due time. Also an update in the comments, which we will get to. But first, yes, the story. It honestly feels ridiculous that I have to post this, but my coworker's been getting on to me about this for weeks now, so I have to ask. My whole life, I've been eating potatoes by microwaving them, then biting into them, eating them basically hot dog style. This is the easiest, most convenient, and intuitive way for me to eat potatoes, sweet potatoes or regular. I think this is just how people in Japan eat them, or at least this is how I was taught by my Japanese parents to eat them. I never saw that in Japan while I was there. Ramtide's the one that taught me how to do this. Maybe it's just a poor people thing, I don't know. Whenever I go to a grocery store, I always pick out the most easily biteable potatoes, which are generally longer and thinner than most other potatoes. So I work in an office of about 30 people. We all typically bring our own lunch, and I usually just eat at my desk while also doing my work. Nah, take your lunch break, what is this? No one's ever commented about how I eat potatoes, but I do eat them quite frequently. Recently, a new person was hired, and she clearly has a problem with the way that I eat potatoes. Here we go. A couple of times, she has pulled me aside and asked me that I just eat potatoes a more normal way. I asked her what she meant by that, and she said that I was eating the potatoes too suggestively. I was more than a little shocked because I literally just have my eyes glued to my screen whenever I'm eating and barely pay attention to how I eat. Yeah, this is born from this new coworker's like deep-seated insecurity. I don't know who hurt you, but it's not the microwave potato lady, okay? I told her no one else seemed to have a problem with the way that I eat potatoes, but she insisted that the others were just too polite to say anything. So I asked a few other coworkers who were all just as confused as I was about what she was saying. I figured no one else really had a problem with it, but this happened multiple times. She kept coming to me and asking me to tone down the way that I eat, even accusing me of going out of my way to choose sexy potatoes. Oh, that line makes the whole post, doesn't it? I've considered bringing them other ways, but this is honestly just the easiest way for me to eat them, and they are completely delicious like this to me. I asked her maybe just to not watch me eat, but apparently that's just not feasible. God, she's just really grasping for control over someone's life, presumably because she has no control over her own life. So yeah, why not fight in the potato wars? Unfortunately, she reported me, and now I have a meeting with HR next week. This seems really dumb to me, but am I the asshole for eating sexy potatoes? This is like another no-brainer post, but it is hilarious. Edit, thank you for gold. Thank you for everyone who gave tips on how to approach HR. We'll update after the meeting. Edit 2, please stop asking me for videos of me eating potatoes.
Welcome to the internet. Have a look around.
It's creepy and weird. And also, the video would be extremely boring and the least sexy thing that you'll ever watch. Hey, how about you let the internet at large decide, OP? No, don't do that. Or do that, but start a potato-based OnlyFans so you don't have to work in an office no more. Anyways, edit 3, because I've gotten a ton of comments asking how to microwave a potato. Scrub potato thoroughly with a sponge to remove dirt, stab the potato with a knife or a fork everywhere, and then put it in the microwave for about 5 minutes, more or less, depending on the size of the potato and the power of the microwave. Then flip it over and do the same thing. To tell if it's done, poke through the center with a knife or a fork. You can generally tell how soft it is by stabbing through it. The texture will be relatively intuitive. Make sure that you let the potato cool for at least 10 minutes, potentially longer, or else it'll be too hot to eat. Unless you like eating hot lava, in which case, you do you, baby boo. Or you could smother it in some nice cool butter, just lube your hand up and take the potato and oh my god, I'm getting so hot and bothered. Oh my God. When you're ready to consume the potato, I usually hold it wrapped around a napkin. I'm sacrilegious, so I eat the skin, but you don't have to. I'll sometimes add butter to regular potatoes, but normally I just sprinkle a bit of salt on it as I eat. Sweet potatoes, I just eat them as is. Either way, you'll probably need to drink some water or some liquid with it, because potatoes is dry, don't you know? But please do enjoy. I do remember doing this. This is total bachelor lifestyle stuff. And now we get to the update. Okay, so I've had a couple of meetings with HR. The first one was on my own yesterday morning alone with the HR woman. According to her, a coworker had reported me for harassment and creating a hostile work environment. Not going to lie, after hearing those accusations, I was honestly pretty scared. Harassment of this sort is a really serious charge. I was allegedly making lewd gestures while eating, despite repeatedly being asked to stop. Okay, this story has obviously been embellished. I'm sure HR knows that as well. That's why they only got the report from one person, right? I told her exactly what had happened. I was eating potatoes the same way that I always had in the 4 years that I've worked in this office. No one else ever had a problem with it until now. The new coworker, let's call her Karen because duh, approached me, telling me that I was eating potatoes inappropriately, and told me to eat them another way. I'd explained to her that this is how I grew up eating them, and I would not stop. If it bothered her, she could, and definitely should, look away. I continued eating potatoes this way. Then, over the next several weeks, she kept complaining about my potatoes every time I ate them this way. I mean, OP obviously is in the right here, but I'd just like to walk around Karen's head for about 5 minutes. I probably wouldn't even last 5 seconds. I'd be like, as soon as I see what's in there, pull me out! Pull me out! As I explained my side, I could tell that HR was getting really annoyed. I don't think she believed that that was all there was to it, so she pressed for more information. Are you sure you didn't do anything to make her believe that you were being inappropriate? Are you sure that you weren't like harassing her, even unintentionally? I told her I never even talked to her unless it was about work or if she approached me first, mostly about the sexy potato thing. HR thanked me for coming in and told me that she'd get back to me. I think she met with Karen after that, and then later on in the day we had a meeting with all 3 of us. Oh joy! Karen says that I lied about not doing anything to make her uncomfortable, that after the first time she came to me asking me to eat my potatoes differently, I dismissed it as a joke. Which, to be fair, I did because, like, are you really dead ass? Which I acknowledge because, I mean, who wouldn't take it as a joke? Then she claimed that each time she asked me to tone it down, I escalated by choosing increasingly sexy potatoes to eat in front of her. By which point, I'm pretty sure HR was trying too hard not to roll her eyes. This is what she gets paid for, bro. Settling disputes over potatoes. I responded by telling Karen that I literally gave 0 thought about her when I bought my potatoes, and I selected them based on the ease of cooking or eating. She accused me of making eye contact with her while I was eating, which I think I did every time she started watching me eat, because obviously it's really uncomfortable having somebody watch me eat, which I explained, and I told her that I had repeatedly asked her to stop watching me eat. And then she pointed out that no one else eats potatoes this way, and the only reason that I would do so is to try and be provocative. It's different and I hate it for no reason. Bro, you need to cool out. Take a big old chill pill. What? I swear to God, HR almost laughed at her at this point. I just showed the lady a video of Japanese people eating potatoes with your hands and biting into them. Is it a Japanese thing? I have done this for the longest time. I learned it from another white dude, so am I culturally appropriating barehanded potato eating? It's a joke. It's a joke. Anyway, HR woman knows me, and she knows that I'm not the type to harass someone or make a deliberately hostile work environment. And in the end, she just said something like, "I'm sorry about the misunderstanding. Perhaps it would really be best to look another way while your coworker is eating." Basically trying to politely tell Karen to get her head out of her butt. Then Karen tried to turn it around by claiming I was making a hostile work environment by telling our coworkers bad things about her. But literally, all I had done was ask others if they were uncomfortable with the way I eat, and I also explained why I had asked them. It was then that Karen tried another angle, claiming the way that I ate the potatoes with my hands was a COVID risk. She really doing the most out here. Come on, HR lady, doesn't that speak to your soul? Karen stated that I was putting the safety of the office in jeopardy by eating this way. HR then said that if she was so concerned, she was welcome to work from home, as is currently company policy. I work in hardware, so it's a bit harder for me to work from home, but Karen works in support, so it would be really easy for her to work from home. Eventually, Karen had to concede that she had nothing left, and so we were all dismissed. This is ludicrous, dude. Later, I talked to my coworker, who had stopped bringing curry because of Karen, let's call him Surya, about the problems that I had with her. He had been unable to eat his regular Indian lunches in the office because of her. Really, dude? She's getting on everybody's case? OP's the only one that stood up? Good on you, OP. At first, it doesn't seem like a hill worth dying on, but she's doing this to the whole office? No, class action right now. Obviously, we were both extremely annoyed, and honestly, I just felt extremely uncomfortable being in an office where she was constantly judging Asian people's food. So I decided to file a report with HR as suggested by many of you. I pointed out how she was harassing Asian people for their food choices, and many of her comments toward me were bordering on the same harassment that she had accused me of. Surya agreed to bring curry for lunch today, and in solidarity, I brought some too, along with my sexy potatoes. Karen didn't comment at all, but she did give us dirty looks and made disgusted faces a few times. Bro, she is definitely speed running, like, have the entire office mad at you any percent. Like, what are you doing? I actually got called into a meeting this afternoon with my boss, who's also one of the founders of the company. He confessed that he didn't like Karen either, off the record, presumably, and that she had multiple complaints about her within the first month of her being hired. She's been here just under 2 months. And the boss also admitted that he had hired her only as a favor to his wife, because she is his wife's cousin and lost her job due to COVID. Gee, I wonder why they chose to let her go. It wasn't a pandemic, I'll tell you that. It's just a good excuse, honestly. He apologized to me on her behalf and assured me that he would talk with her. I decided to keep my harassment claim with HR and have another meeting tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. Thank you for all your tips and suggestions. I will continue eating my sexy potatoes for the foreseeable future. That's too wonderful. Truth is, Karen needs to be broken of this problem, and, you know, OP, that's a good first step, but now you gotta bring in only elongated foods. I'm talking hot dogs, bananas, popsicles for dessert.
You know how many foods are shaped like the best kinds?
There is an update to this post. I'm definitely eager to get into it. I pray that Karen gets fired. Please, just if I could have one wish, at least for this wonderful magical post, it would be that. Or more YouTube subscribers. Hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, why not hit that button? Let's go over to FuKaren and check out the update to this post. Sexy Potatoes Karen. Background. So I posted a few weeks ago on a different subreddit about a really difficult to deal with Karen coworker. You can read about it on my profile if you are interested, and we did. TLDR, I eat my potatoes hot dog style, holding them in my hands and biting down, which is common in Japan, where my parents are from. For some reason, Karen was always really annoyed by this and claimed that I was harassing her by eating the potatoes suggestively. Then she reported me to HR for supposedly escalating over the weeks by deliberately choosing to eat increasingly sexy potatoes. She's too weird for this world, dude. She'd also given another coworker, Surya, grief for bringing Indian food to the office, and he actually stopped for a while. I decided to file a counter complaint to HR for cultural insensitivity and harassment. I was really uncomfortable with her watching me eat and sexualizing it within her own mind. I got a lot of requests for updates, but the original subreddit didn't let me post it, so I got permission from the mods to post it here, since it really is kind of an FuKaren kind of post, right? Hopefully the people who requested the updates can see it. Yeah, AITA mods are pretty hard line. It's difficult to get a post to stay up around there, at least in my experience. Actual post. So, something that I hadn't mentioned in the original post is that I am a gay woman, which is known about the office. However, I didn't mention this because it wasn't relevant until now. Karen lost it the other day when Surya brought in a lovely tikka masala to share. He'd done this before the pandemic, and the kitchen is separate from the rest of the office, so you can't actually smell anything being microwaved unless you're in the kitchen. She said, "It was really rude of him to keep bringing curries to the office," and no one confronted him about it because they were trying to be polite, when in actuality, most people were enjoying the food that he brought. Hell yeah! Free masala? You count me in for that. COVID or no. He said in his home country, really well-spiced curries were extremely common. People bring them and microwave them in the office all the time, and it's among some of the most popular takeout food. He had no reason to believe that it wouldn't be the same within the office. Karen snapped back that, "We weren't in India!" But Surya just said, he's from London. Karen didn't really have a response to that. That's hilarious. Karen confronted me in the parking lot after my HR complaint, claiming that I was trying to spite her with the hard-boiled eggs I had eaten at lunch. Oh my god, now we're going after testicle-shaped food as well? This is outlandish, bro. Even though I'm definitely not the only one who eats hard-boiled eggs in the office, I guess eggs are now too sexy too. Yep, that's genitalia, we can't allow that. She said my harassment complaint was discriminating against her for being Christian. Oh god. And I was making her deliberately uncomfortable by throwing my sexuality in her face. But she knew she couldn't say that because she'd be called homophobic. I honestly had no idea that she was uncomfortable with gay people, and to be honest, that's not my problem. But she said that my putting a pride sticker on my laptop a few days after she started working here was the start of my escalation. Bro, Karen, maybe you're just not a good fit. Maybe you need to go find another new job that wasn't handed to you by the boss's wife. According to her, my behavior was retaliatory to her having Bible verses on her desk. And then here's the kicker. Apparently I was using my girlfriend, my relatively high-pitched voice, and my eating to get men in the office to lust after me. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. She implied that Japanese/Asian women try way too hard to be sexually appealing. I mean, Karen, let's be real, even if you tried like a little bit hard, you probably wouldn't be having some of the problems that you're having. She'd be too busy getting down to worry about how other people is eating their potatoes, right? Good God. I would have gone off on her for being prejudiced, granted with stereotypes that I honestly had never heard of before, but I was tired and I told her that if my existence was bothering her, that's not my problem, and she should probably just go work from home. I also subtly mentioned that maybe this was why she was laid off from her last job. Yeah, calls them as you sees them. Well, she filed another harassment claim saying that I was targeting her for religious discrimination. Oh boy. I guess this is just the result of the progressive stack, is it not? Oh, damn. Like, holy hell, I just want to eat my perfectly innocent food in peace. And somehow it turned into a whole religious racial war. I told HR what had happened, and then Karen claimed that I was trying to paint her in a bad light. You did that to yourself, woman. My boss later talked to me privately and again apologized. Bro, your apologies ain't holding too much weight if you're not gonna like do something about it, right? Anyways, I think Karen's now working remotely, thank God, since I hadn't heard from her since last week. If she ever brings up anything about my innocuous eating, my orientation, or my race again, I'll definitely file another complaint with HR. But for now, I think I'm content with eating my sexy potatoes and eggs in peace. Honestly, I wish there was a third update. I wish we all got to hear about how Karen inevitably got fired, because I almost guarantee you she inevitably got fired. But this account has been suspended, so I guess it is what it is. And really what it is a fascinating exploration into the mind of a Karen. You thought it was empty in there, but no, there's just sexy potatoes bouncing around everywhere. This is so ludicrous. I do feel kind of silly that OP's like trying to turn it into a racial issue, but I don't know, I could be wrong on that too. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Like, subscribe on the video, maybe share it around. This is a pretty good one for that. One of those old Reddit classics, you know what I'm saying? Big ups to Lady Angelia13 for posting it in my personal subreddit r/ReddX reads. Come on through, write some stuff if you want. I'd be happy to read it on the channel for you. Big shouts out, of course, also to my Patreon patrons, my YouTube channel members. You guys are absolutely beautiful. And as always, I'd like to remind you, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, friends, bye-bye.